Live. Welcome to Motivational Monday, brought to you by The Bridge Builder. We only have 4 Mondays left in the year. I cannot believe it. Time is flying. On the first week of this change checklist, we started talking about controlling what you can control. And we talked about the fact that you can't control anybody else but you. The second week, we talked about requiring passwords. Can't just let anybody into your life. The third week, we talked about being ready for anything because problems will come. It's not about how the problems come. It's about how you respond to them. Fourth week, we talked about allowing enough time for takeoff. Don't quit too early. Some of you quit too early and you got to make sure you stay in the fight. The fifth week, we talked about turning the station because you got a lot of static going on. You're listening to too many things. Sometimes you got to turn the station so you can zone in on your goals. The sixth week, we talked about getting into uniform. That was last week. And we talked about the fact that you have to have a uniformed approach when you're trying to reach your goals. So this week, week number 7, with only 4 Mondays left in the year on the change checklist, I want to talk about defining the finish line. You have to define what the end game is when you're accomplishing or attempting to accomplish anything, when you're living on purpose, when you're walking in destiny. You've never seen a race, no matter if it was a sprinter or a distance runner, where they did not have a finish line. You've never seen anybody in the Olympics not go for anything where there wasn't some mark, some goal that they were trying to reach. I suggest to you that for most of this year, many of us and many of you have been running towards something, but you did not have a finish line. And that's why you're feeling like you're running in all different types of directions. You're running in this way, trying to get your career right. You're running in that direction, trying to get your relationships right. You're running, trying to start something new, but you don't have a finish line, so you don't even know how close you are to it. And if you don't have a defined finish line, it will seem like you're running for no reason at all. And there's no reason to be tired and hustling and pushing as much as you do and as much as you try to work without having a finish line in your life. You have to determine what your finish line is, what the goal line is, if you're ever truly going to accomplish anything. So today I want to give you 3 steps to define the finish line. The first step is you must ensure that your effort is worth it. You got to ensure that your effort is worth it. For some of you, you are doing things and I believe it may not even be worth it. There's some of you, you're working a second job for what? There's some of you that you're in a dead-end job for what? There's some of you that you're in a dead-end relationship for what? You're doing things and you haven't even determined whether it's worth your time. It's very common for people to start going through the motions and getting in the habit of doing things. We're a copycat society. You see somebody doing on Facebook, well, I want to do it too. You see somebody trying something, I want to try it too. But the question is it worth your effort? You have to ensure that everything you do is worth your effort. When sprinters are running in a race or even a distance runner, their strides are such that they make sure that there's no wasted effort. I suggest to you that many of you are doing a lot of things, but it's not the right things, and you have some wasted efforts, and you got to get your stride down pat. And there's some people in your life that are wasted efforts. There's some things, there's some frustrations that you have that are wasted efforts. And you got to get to a point where your strides mean something, because none of us know how much time we have. None of us know how many steps we have left. I don't know how many moments I have left. So I don't have time to be running towards something and wasting any efforts. The second thing is you must know how far you're willing to go. You see, for some of you, you want to get somewhere and you want to accomplish something and you want to see yourself grab a hold of something, but you're not sure how far you're willing to go. You haven't determined that you're willing to go all the way. I'll say it like this. Some of you want the prize, but you don't want the process. We want the medal at the end. We want the big trophy. We want our name in lights. We want the cars. We want the money, but you haven't determined that you're willing to go through the process to get the prize. When someone sets out in the Olympics on a distance run, they know they're either going 100 meters, or if they're going on a long distance run, it's 1,500 meters. If they're going short distance, sometimes it's 100 or 200, but they've already determined that I'm willing to go that far to get the prize. My question to you today is, how far are you willing to go? Are you willing to stay up late? Are you willing to wake up early? Are you willing to deny yourself some things to get to where you need to go? Are you willing to deny yourself some people to get to where you you need to go? Are you willing to stay in the process even when it doesn't look like it's going to happen? Are you willing to cry over it? Are you willing to sweat over it? Are you willing to train over it? See, I didn't plan to go here, but when you see people grabbing a prize and you see them going through something and you say, wow, that person ran fast, or wow, that person hit the shot, or wow, that person did great in business. What you did not see was the process on their way to it. You weren't there when they were up early in the morning while you were sleeping and they were already training. You weren't there late at night when you were sleeping and they were still working. The question is, are you willing to go through the process to get the prize? Because many of us, we want the prize, but we don't want the process, and we haven't determined how far we're willing to go. I hope I'm talking to some people that say, I'm willing to go all the way. There are only 4 Mondays left in the year, and don't stop now. Don't quit now. And don't you dare say, I'm going to wait till the first of the year to get started. Don't you dare say when January comes, I'm going to do this. If you're not doing it now, you're not going to do it in January. How far are you willing to go? So we're talking about defining the finish line. You have to make sure that everything is worth your effort. You have to determine how far you're willing to go. And finally, and last but certainly not least, you must stay in your lane. So when a runner is running towards the finish line, when they get ready to take off, they are in a lane. It's actually a violation to get out of your lane. And you really don't even want to be looking in the other lane, because if I'm looking in the other lane, I'm not looking at the finish line. And for many of us, we're trying to run a race and we're trying to get to a finish line where we're so worried about what's going on in somebody else's lane. We're trying to get in somebody else's lane, and we're running into each other when we really need to keep going straight. Let me tell you something. I've determined a long time ago, I'm not racing against anybody but myself. I don't have to pay attention to anybody else's lane. I don't have to keep up with anybody else's pace, but I have to stay in my lane and define what my finish line is. And I'll know when I get there. You can't determine my finish line for me, and I can't determine your finish line for you. I hope this has been helpful for somebody. I hope you'll stay focused on the change checklist. We only have 3 more Mondays left in the year after today. Somebody asked me, they said, are you going to do this on Christmas Day? Why not? Because as long as there's a Monday, I'll be motivating you. I hope you'll share this video. I hope you'll buy the book, How to Get to the Other Side. I'm going to drop my YouTube link in this comment section. I hope you'll log on to my YouTube channel to get all the messages in the change checklist. I appreciate your support for Motivational Monday. You don't know how blessed I am. And I'll see you next week. Same time, same place. As long as there's a Monday, we'll be motivating you. See you soon.